Hello, everyone. Hi, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the third episode of Series 2 of the Thelma and Louise Lockdown Travel Chats. I'm Emma, and this is Anna.
Hi.
We run the Thelma and Louise travel community. So if you're ever on the website or following us on social media and you need to get in touch with us, then it's usually us that will get back to you and help you find your travel buddies. Series 2, episode 3, and there is light at the end of the tunnel for us in the UK, at least anyway. The government yesterday announced a roadmap to easing the travel restrictions, which is fantastic. So hopefully from the 12th of April, we will be able to have domestic travel. From the 17th of May, fingers crossed, all going to plan, we might be able to travel internationally as well. So we are hopefully not momentarily, but filled with joy and hope, and we are ready to get planning. So with that in mind, even before all the roadmap was launched, we launched these travel chats. We've talked to Barbara Wabel, who is Hole in the Donut Travel. We talked to her about how to travel with a chronic illness, again, hoping to help you get back on the road when all of this is over. Last week, we talked to women's travel guru Kelly Lewis. And next week, we're going to be talking to divorce goddess Tosh Britton. Anna, who are we talking to this week?
Well, today we are talking to two traveling aunties. So the story is in September 2019, Norah and Susie, two Singaporean women in their 50s, ditched the security of a 9-to-5 day for a life in their motorhome. Their plans was to leave and travel around Europe and North Africa for 1 year, and then travel back overland to Singapore. But then COVID struck, and 17 months later, here they are, still on the road. Susie and Nora are joining us today from Athens. Welcome.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Good evening, ladies.
Yes, good
Hi,
evening.
welcome.
Please.
Now, ladies, for the uninitiated, please can you explain the Singaporean concept of an auntie?
You.
Okay. For women above 40, usually would be called aunties already because we are considered to be past our prime, you know. and it's kind of like a sign of respect, but at the same time, it's also
women of certain age,
Yeah.
stay at home, pass your time, pass your life, stay home, don't do much, don't
Yeah.
take risks.
Yeah, no adventure, no
Yeah.
nothing, you know. So we take that label and run with it, and travel tells us that we
Yeah.
need to
Show that aunties above 50s still can have a life. You can do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Life has not gone past you yet. You
Yeah.
have plenty to go.
Yeah.
So what was your life before this adventure started? Were you staying at home? Were you?
No, I was working full time, but but it's just like every time go to work, go back home. It's like you have to have a career, you have to have a working life till you're 65. When you retire, then you can maybe enjoy life a little bit. That's the norm.
Yeah, it's a typical city life where when in your 20s, you study, you work, build your career, buy a home, buy another home, you know, and it doesn't stop. So there's a expected lifestyle in Singapore, and I'm sure in most of big cities. So yeah, we were not happy with that. So
So you bought a motorhome and decided to go traveling. That's a really big step. How did your family and friends take that?
I think our friends were pretty surprised, and they commented on our courage because they wanted to do it, like, you know, but they can't find it in themselves to actually even see themselves to do it because it's not the norm at all. And we don't know any Singaporeans, any one of our friends who has even been in a motorhome even for holidays. So it's really like, okay, we think that we were the first one out of Singapore to do it, but
it's something new, something that no one has done in Singapore, really, especially aunties.
especially a woman in their 50s. And we had been on, the usual holiday. We have the 5-star, the 4-star. I do a lot of backpacking. Even on a road trip, I hired a car in the US, but living in a motorhome and traveling in it full time is a totally different game.
It's also our first time.
Yeah, it's our first time too.
Lots of us are in a situation at the moment where we are having to spend a lot of time with people that maybe we didn't sign up to be with 24/7. Lockdown, obvious reasons. But most of us has got a little bit more space than living in a motorhome. So I was wondering, how do you manage your relationship and make sure that you're getting on? How do you deal with any difficulties and arguments that might arise on the road when basically you can't get away from each other?
No, not
Actually,
at all.
We met another couple on the road, and they were telling that when they are back home in their big house, they always argue. But when they're on the road trip, they never argue. They always enjoy their life because you have your set routine, things that you have to do while you're on the road. You're so preoccupied and so in awe with your environment and new places that you're visiting. You have no time to argue. You just there's no one else to share with as well, except the person next to you. So you actually enjoy it more. And it's just like kind of more intimate relationship. You bond on that actually.
Yeah, and actually, it's like leaving home in an argument or whatever. It's not a choice because you can't just leave your home and go into the jungle or
Too
wherever.
busy to argue. Too busy to argue.
but in any case, we had a trial run in Perth before we decided to go on a long-term holiday. So we tried motorhoming in Perth for 10 days and see if we don't kill each other or how we deal with arguments or not, or so it was quite a trial. So I would suggest anyone who wants to start living in a motorhome to at least try for one or twice for the experience.
Yeah, that's
still 10 days. Sorry, go on now.
Oh no,
Yeah.
Go on.
So I was saying 10 days still is quite completely different than 17 months.
You
How do you split the tasks? How do you
okay. Before we left, we were saying that okay, maybe we split the chores. Like I would cook and clean for 1 week, then after that Susie will do the other week. But reality sets in, and I'm a little messy according to Susie, so she rather do the dishwashing. So I end up do most of the cooking, and
she's better in cooking, and she doesn't quite like my cooking. She says it's too bland. So it turns out I don't like her cooking. So it ends up like she does most of the cooking, I do the cleaning. So we're both happy.
Yeah. So a bit of adjustment, although the plan wasn't that. So.
So it adapt.
Yeah. Your roles and have just fallen into them, really.
Correct.
What about driving and navigating? Is there a natural split there?
Oh, definitely. I do 99% of the driving. And Susie does the
navigating.
Yeah, the navigation and
co-pilot.
Co-pilot. and the screaming that I'm driving too fast or something.
Just watch out for the road signs, stuff here and there, because everything is new. So Sorry?
How many countries have you driven through now?
24, including Greece.
24. Hopefully in 2 weeks, 25.
Yeah.
And do you find it at all intimidating, shifting from one country to the other, changing sides of the roads, all the different rules and regulations? How do you get used to it?
The thing is not to sweat it at all. Just try to keep cool. It's a lot about muscle memory, and driving is about that, and you keep the same kind of instinctive driving. I don't know.
It helps to have GPS. I think that helps and cut out a lot of the stress. So sometimes everything is new, road sign, road, everything. So we just stick to the GPS, look at the blue line, follow the arrow and the blue line,
Yeah.
and then you just drive
Yeah.
slowly.
Yeah, but it does help to have a good co-pilot. Like when we were driving in UK, we have a left-hand drive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying
Yeah.
to think. We have a left-hand drive, but in UK you have a right-hand drive. So I was driving the wrong vehicle on the wrong side of the road, right? So it's
Yeah,
can be
for
very
that,
complicated.
from
Yeah.
the left hand to the right hand, we have to be extra careful.
Yeah.
We are more conscious of that,
Yeah.
and make sure we don't drive on the wrong side of the road. And then coming back to Europe,
Yeah.
the initial part.
Yeah.
But I think after a day or two, it's fine.
Yeah, it's kind of similar all over
Mm.
each country, but of course, driving driving culture, driving patterns of each country is different. So it's just good to keep a cool head and
She's a good driver.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm
Yeah.
curious because this must be tiring, but do you plan a lot of your trip in advance? Does it help to know, you will stop in a couple of hours, and
Oh yes,
Yes, yes.
is your trip planned quite a bit in
We
advance?
plan in details, but
not anymore.
like for
Edwin.
today, our note, well, we actually, through our experience, we realized that especially the trial run in Australia, never do 700 kilometers a day. 200 is fine.
Yeah.
1 to 2 hours drive each
Yeah.
time, take a break. So we know tomorrow, let's say we leave here, the next destination will be about 200 kilometers away. So I look for a place to park. So it's good to look in advance for a place to park, because the place is new and you don't want to go to a new place and panic and look for where to park. So there are apps available. Look for the place to park and then the distance, and then we estimate. And then if the place to go to is 300 kilometers, we will plan like after 150 or an hour and a half drive,
Break.
we will stop for 5 minutes, 10 minutes break, and
Yeah.
sometimes stop for lunch.
Yeah.
And is there quite a traveling community that you found on the road? The van life community that you've managed to kind of tap into and get advice from and tips and so on?
Oh yes, definitely. And the community, it's so amazing. Like all over Europe, we meet people from all over even the US, from Australia, from New Zealand, from Korea, and we have a lot in common. And it's a lot of I don't know. You know that you can ask for helping hand from them, and they would, like we had borrowed ladders. We had people from, I don't know, from the guy from France, and we didn't speak the language, but somehow we knew what we talking.
Sign language,
Yeah,
and then they
and he
know.
helped, yeah.
Show them what is the trouble.
Yeah.
Like your charger's not working.
Yeah.
Show him that it's not working.
Something wrong with the heater or whatever.
And he knows
Yeah.
what you're talking about, because it's like van life community, more or less know what kind of problem you have.
And also we help like a few people with dead batteries, right? We will just like a lot of sign languages, and we just drive and we know what we're talking about. So the community is so big and so helpful. We are not afraid of not getting any help anywhere.
It's
really
kind of like a camaraderie community, that you know each other. And obviously pre-COVID, there's a lot every day you see them, and you wave to each other as well. Like you're waving at old friends. You see them less, but they're still around. And even as recent as last month, our chimney flap was broken, and we're too afraid to climb up the roof to take it down. And I asked this other fellow van lifer and say, I'm afraid, can you help me take? And he happily do it. He climb up, do a very nice job for me as well. And everybody, everybody is so willing to help. Yeah.
Did you do much?
I don't know. I think Emma's blocked for a bit.
Yes.
Well, it's good to know that
you've kind of just learned on the road, or trusted to luck or God.
We learned a lot on the road. Like for example, we initially, when we were in Spain, we met this German couple in their 80s. They've been in Egypt 3 times all around the world. And we were asking him, how to check the tire pressure, and he showed us there's PSI and there's bar, there's 2 type of meters, this is how, and he showed us his, and then he tell us, there's different adapters for gas, this is for this type, this is for Spain, for German, and he teach us a whole lot of things, so we learned a lot on the road.
Yeah, to be fair, there was a lot of courage involved, because we know nothing about engines. Like, even back home in Singapore, if you have any problem with the car, we just go to a garage, and even changing of oil, we do that. So we don't even know like where's the battery or whatever, so it takes a lot of courage, I guess, to do what we do, but we trust our instinct, and I think we also trust our experience in dealing with people. I mean, we are 50, right? I mean, we have a whole life between us, more than 100 years of experience. So yeah, so I think we kind of like know how to talk to people or judge people. So we rely a lot on our life experience to deal with life on the road and learn as we go along. Yeah.
It's
So
really,
for the people at home, it must be a complete madness what you did, isn't it? I mean, what do they think?
For people in Singapore, I think yes, a lot of them are quite inspired by it. They are surprised, like these 2 aunties can travel to 24 countries
and still traveling.
So kind of inspired them and give them courage to eventually pursue whatever they want to pursue, especially after the lockdown. So
we have a lot of people who say that they are inspired by our stories, like we are still traveling and we do what we do, because like I said, our culture back in Singapore, this is really unheard of, and especially at our age, to just pack up and go. So they say they live vicariously through us, and and just applaud us along and come along.
And I think after seeing what we did, they probably feel that if these aunties can do it, so can we. You can. For sure.
We had to give a lot of advice to our followers on Instagram and YouTube, asking about how do you get the van, blah blah blah, how do you travel. So we are happy to share.
I think you need to write a book. I mean, with all the details, because everybody will want to know. I mean, from the basics of how long it takes to get to here to the people skills that you have and you learned. How do you feel about that?
Pressure.
Yes.
I mean, it's like, in a way, this is pretty amazing. Like, first, we know nothing about engines, and we go and buy a motorhome, and we know nothing about editing and YouTubing, and we produce videos, and we know nothing about writing a book, and hopefully we will write a book. I mean, we are in the middle of writing a book as well. So all these things are out of our comfort zone. And like, for example, like the YouTube channel, we didn't really want to go there because we don't know how much of commitment it will be, and we still want to enjoy our travel experience. And when you take certain kind of commitment, you don't know how much time involved in that, blah blah blah. So all this we had to juggle, and we had to learn stuff. So I know it's probably
you get more comfortable as you travel, and then you get to learn things here and there, and then just slowly getting there.
Not as savvy as the youngsters, but we're getting there.
Still learning.
Well, you keep mentioning age, but I think, I don't know, for most Europeans, it's probably 50s is the time they say, okay, children are on their way, I've done my bit, and now it's a bit of time for me. It's like kind of the second...
Yes, that's what we noticed when we were locked down in Morocco. Like, believe it or not, we were one of the youngest in the camp. And most of them were like in their 80s. The oldest was Jean-Pierre, was 85. He celebrated his 85th birthday during lockdown. And a few 80-year-old, and there was what's her name, the lady, Vera, was
Oh.
like in her 80s as well, and they had bicycles and they were driving big buses, and we were like, seriously, all the way from France to Morocco, and some of them have like leg pains, and like walking sticks, but they
But
were
they still
there.
do it. Yeah.
And we were like, see, really? Wow. It really opened our eyes. And like there we were, when we were trying to plan, we had so much things going through in our head. Like, are we really doing the right thing? And are we like too old for this kind of adventure? Yeah.
And how does it feel for you? Does it feel like you should have done it earlier, or does it feel, is it right time for you?
We wish we'd done it 10 years
At
earlier.
least, yeah.
Earlier, because I guess if you're younger, you can do more activities.
You have a shorter recovery period.
Yeah.
Like if you go on a long hike, like if you go on a 3 or 4 hours hike,
You
now
can walk more. Yeah, you can walk more.
certainly, and you can do more. Like now, we want to try skiing, but we are afraid that what if you fall and break a bone?
But it's still
Oh, yeah.
never better late than never.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's
Just a good
criteria as to
Yeah.
at what age you need to go into this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever you're comfortable.
Yeah.
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 And I guess with the coronavirus happening right now as well, I mean, your timing, do you consider it unlucky, or maybe it's kind of made your trip in a way? Would you change it knowing what you know about the global pandemic hitting in the middle of your trip?
No, we
No,
were
yeah.
actually very lucky to have traveled, because the plan was to start in March 2019, and that was when coronavirus hit.
No, now it's 2021, 2020.
2020.
You see, we got our dates mixed up. So
2020, yeah, you go.
yeah, so the plan was to start our travel in March 2020, and
Yeah.
now we know that was where the pandemic hit us, right?
Yeah.
So if we would have waited as planned, we wouldn't have left Singapore at all. But Susie decided to
Chuck my job in.
to terminate her boss.
Just can't stand work anymore.
Yeah,
It's just
in July. So we brought forward our plans like 6 months earlier in advance. So had we wait as per plan,
we'll still be back home.
no, we won't go anywhere. So it is
Yeah.
lucky, or whatever you want to call it.
Because
So
I
we
think
were-
now traveling might not be the same anymore, and I'm glad that we experienced this, because we traveled pre-COVID, during the pandemic, lockdown twice or
lockdown
more,
twice, yeah.
and probably a little bit, I don't know, hopefully COVID is over soon and it'll be post-COVID, but we're glad we had the chance to have this experience and actually did this journey.
Yeah, we are only missing out on the summer festivals that we had hoped to go to. Like, we plan to be in Europe during the summer, go to all the festivals there is, and whatever. But we were stuck in Morocco for 7 months, so
we're still happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess no one else is going to be able to recreate your trip exactly. You've had a completely unique experience. And
Yeah,
you
totally.
can come back for the festivals, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Hopefully.
Maybe, yeah.
Can I ask, I mean, how does one budget for a trip like this? Because I think a lot of people think, I'm going on the road for 3 months, I can do X, Y, and Z. But from then on, it becomes a bit scary, isn't it? So how did you budget? How did you plan to save money, or to?
We had a budget that we work on. Like, we based it on what we would have spent on our usual vacation. Like, we go on 2 big trips a year and a few smaller ones, like like the plan for 1 year or 2 years, like how much we were spent on a usual vacation. So we used that as a base, but it also depended on the kind of travel that we wanted, the vehicle, and how much money we've left to travel and how long it could last. So it's a lot of like I don't know, like not guessing, but
No,
research.
Yeah,
roughly
Yeah,
approximately.
yeah,
estimate
approximately.
how much you need on food. Um, you know, based on, like, for example, in Singapore, roughly how much you need to buy on food and utilities, and of course there's the European exchange and standard.
Yeah,
But we also check on other YouTubers and find out,
yeah,
no, van lifers, how
yeah,
much
well, yeah,
they spend, and look at their budget and
yeah,
expenses, and then we work out, like, roughly we have a rough idea how much you will eat in a week,
yeah,
and then how much you spend on
yeah,
petrol, and then you set aside a budget on the with the budget you have, then you look for the type of car you have.
yeah.
So yeah, so it's not that scary actually, budget wise.
Well, yeah, we did a lot of research, basically a lot of YouTube watching and everywhere,
Mhm.
just information from everywhere. And like I said, the community is so willing to share information. So we did that, and from then, process of elimination and priority, blah blah blah. We pulled together
Yeah,
what
yeah.
we could
I think you
afford.
were lucky with van. I think you were lucky with van because probably that's the biggest expenditure that can happen if it breaks down. If you, it must have
Yeah,
been a good one.
yeah, on
Yes.
that part, I think we were very lucky. We were very lucky because I did most of the research back in Singapore, and we have zero information on the kind of motorhome, on the kind of vehicle that's available to us. So I did a lot of research and contacted so many dealers all the way from UK to
US.
Germany to the US and Canada, and asked friends what's available out there. And from then, I had a little basic idea of what we want, and just narrow down on ease of buying a van. We did actually narrow down the UK, right? But at the end, we wanted a left-hand drive versus a right-hand drive because we do most of Europe versus UK. So those kind of things that made our decision. Yeah.
Also, I think budget wise, if you compare with if you are a hitchhiker or you travel, the amount you would spend on a hotel and renting a car and transportation, and then you compare it to actually having a motorhome, is actually could be cheaper. So then having to spend say $80 on a hotel room, and if you work it out,
Yeah.
it's not that expensive
Yeah.
on the motorhome. Yeah,
We
unless you
have
want, yeah.
we have a question from someone that is watching us on Facebook right now. Shireen, she says, how have you crossed oceans? Do you put your van on ship, or do you
Ah.
pick up a new van each continent? But I guess yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
please.
We go for the 8 ferry crossing
Nah. Okay, so we flew from Singapore to
to
Amsterdam to
Amsterdam.
get the van. And then we drive all the way
Yeah.
and we cross the English Channel on ferry. We cross into Morocco on ferry,
Ferries.
and from Italy to Greece also on ferry.
Ferry.
So far we did eight ferries,
crossing.
ferry crossings. Yeah, so initially it was from Singapore to Amsterdam fly.
Okay, so from Greece, from Athens, where to next?
Turkey.
Turkey.
Okay, so the big plan is still to overland back to Asia, Malaysia, and Singapore, but not Singapore because Singapore prohibits motorhome into the city state. So we'll final destination with the motorhome would be Malaysia. So the next country would be Turkey. So after Turkey, we'll see which border opens. So it's between Russia and Iran. So who
Have you got-
knows?
Have you got a preference, Russia or Iran?
Well,
Yes, my preference is actually Russia, Mongolia, China. She likes
I would prefer Iran because we would have to go through India and Pakistan.
Yeah.
Notorious countries, but from what we've heard from a lot of overlanders, those are some of the beautiful places and people that you could meet. But we'll see, you know.
Yeah, now
But we have plan Z. If all else fails,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. We could just head back to Europe. I don't know.
Yeah, now it's not up to corona situation.
Yeah.
We go to wherever we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Like,
sounds-
I was thinking your van is a legend, so it might be the case that when you get home, somebody will say, "Well, I'll take her back," you know, I'll take her back to Amsterdam.
We had some inquiries. Someone in Malaysia is interested to take over and drive back to Europe, and there's also someone who is interested to fly into Europe and take over from there, and he has been vaccinated already, so it's possible. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And the thing is, like, they have not, these few of these people that we talked to, they have not driven in a motorhome before, but I think we kind of sort of inspire them to even look into the option. So we are so glad that we could inspire people to, you know, take the road less trodden here. Yeah.
Oh, you definitely inspire. Sorry, Ma.
the idea of VanGar just going backwards and forwards across the continent.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's possible.
She remembered the VanGar. I'm so pleased that you remember the van name.
Do you want to tell everyone what it means?
Yeah, van, right? So garang in Malay or Indonesian means ferocious, courageous, fearless. Garang, you know, like if you say like, oh wow, you dress garang today, you know, you look garang, it's like, oh, you're ready for the world. So that's what we thought we needed a name for the van to give.
We need a fearless car.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like I say, we've been very lucky with Van Garang because really absolutely no trouble from the day that we pick her up, well, except for the little aches and pains. Yeah, but she's been wonderful.
Yeah, it's a classic car. It can go on forever. In another 5 years, it will be a classic.
A 30-year-old van.
It'll be a special. So
yeah,
She's probably
I hope it carry on.
probably over 50s, well traveled, and keeps going. So well, you definitely have inspired some people, because we have Tosh Britton, which is going to be our next guest here, and she says, I'm in my early 50s and I cannot wait to go out on the road. You are inspiring. Please write your memoirs. And Edith would like to know, what things did you discover that you would not travel without by van?
Good question.
Our safety belt. I will not travel without it.
Without.
Yeah. We have a safety measure for inside the van at night when we sleep. So I have this belt that tie up the door so people cannot break from outside or make it harder. So it's something that I would do and carry with me. What else would you carry?
That was
spices.
Yeah. Spice. I wish we had carried more spice from home.
Yeah, we will not travel without our curry powder
and some Thai spices.
Yes, and chilies.
Yeah,
we must bring more packet of chilies.
Yeah,
those are things that we will not travel without.
Everything else can be
spices. The rest you can purchase on the road. Most countries have very interesting local produce that you can try, so that's not an issue. Only our local spices.
When you're on the road for as long as you've been on the road for, you just sometimes need a good taste of home, don't you?
Yes. Sometimes when you miss home, then you just have a bit of flavor from home.
Like I cook the most in the van, and I did not cook so much back home, and in fact I even hated cooking, but you're just forced into trying the things that you think you hate,
discover things that you can do actually.
And do it pretty well, I guess.
Are there any other tips and tricks that you've got for helping deal with homesickness when you're away for such a long time?
Well, call back
Yeah,
home.
call back home. I call my mom
Yeah.
once a week, every week. So I'll video call her just to say that, you know, we are
Yeah.
safe and you can see me
Yeah.
putting on weight instead of losing weight, which means a sign of wealth and happiness. So she can see that we're well. Call home, keep in touch with people back home, so they know
Yeah.
we are safe and well.
I think that's part of the reason why we keep up with the social media, to tell our families and friends back
also.
home what we are doing, that we are safe, and also to stalk them on what they're doing. You know, like during
Keep in touch. Yeah.
to keep in touch. Like during festivities, we do a lot of video calling. So yeah.
Was
You
it coronavirus as well? Were you more worried about people back home with the added stress of coronavirus hanging over your head?
No,
Well, I
actually.
was worried about my mom, of course, but my brother is looking after her, so I'll keep in touch and then check that she doesn't go out, and she does not go out anyway, and he takes the safety precaution if he goes out and then come home, because you don't want him to pick up the virus and spread to her. But when you talk to them and you know they're taking those precautions, at least you're not as stressed as.
I have no worries about people back home, because generally Singaporeans are very law abiding, very obedient people. So I think whatever is recommended
Not
for
so
their
bad,
safety, it'll be okay. But also I think we have to practice common sense more than anything else to keep us safe. We cannot let the virus stop our lives or stop what we're doing, you know.
Everything,
But-
even for me, when I call home, my mom says, "Stay where you are in Morocco in the desert. Don't come home. Back home is like highly populated. It's even more dangerous. You pick it up on the aeroplane. You're in a safe place. Stay there then."
Yeah.
So it's okay.
were you tempted to stay somewhere? Were you tempted to?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like well, the first 3 months in Morocco before the coronavirus, we were even like thinking like, oh, can we like stay there for a year even, because
Morocco.
we love the country so much. And well, we did stay there for another 3 months.
Spain.
Yeah, and Spain and France also, because we didn't spend too much time in France. Basically all the places that we've been, we wish we stayed there longer.
Italy.
So
But the thing is that I know there are lots of places on earth that I haven't seen that I wish to see. So although it's tempting, the
we've
thought
been
of
greedy.
other places and other adventures will pull me towards the other direction. Yeah.
You probably see there is another question from Tosh. Have you traveled in a convoy with others, sharing the road sometimes?
Yes,
definitely, yes.
We were stuck in Morocco for lockdown in a campsite for 3.5 months. So when the lockdown eases, we convoy with 2 other German cars around south of Morocco, and then
we cross into Spain together. They help us. They help us across. That's a whole other story. Getting ourselves back into Spain, into Europe. We also took the opportunity to tour south the coast of Spain with
when
them.
we all escaped from Morocco, we convoy to Germany together. So yes, we did. It's quite good to have a convoy actually sometimes.
You sometimes meet people and then you try to influence each other to get them to come to you and then follow your route. So we did that a few times, and we were in Albania as well, the Canadian family. We had planned, we were together for some times. It's kind of like nice to have a familiar face. You know, after being on the road, most of the time you just touch and go and you don't really know people. So when you do a bit of convoy, you get to know them a lot more, and we still keep in touch with most of them.
It sounds like
nice.
You've met some incredible people. And do you think that it's the people or the places that you'll remember more?
So hard.
I think both. Some places I remember forever, like Cliff of Moher in Ireland,
the place,
Eye of Skye in Scotland. But then people I will also remember forever, like the
Well,
old German professor who teach us about
we call him a professor
tire
because he knows
pressure.
everything.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
quite a few people on the road that
Yeah.
we'll remember forever.
I think
and
yeah.
friends that we made
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah, it's definitely the people as well that makes the place special.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think mostly is the sunsets that makes the place extra special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely sounds like a memoir there.
Thank you. I hope
Well,
so.
if there's any editors that
Yeah.
want to help
wanna
us,
help
please,
us,
reach out to us.
Yeah, contact us.
We
Yeah.
are in dire need of help.
We need guidance on that one. Yeah.
Any publishers out there, you know where
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
We have more and more questions coming in. I have one from Edith is asking, how hard was it to find Wi-Fi connectivity? How did you do it?
Oh, it's kind of hard, but we depend on mobile data. We had stuck to the one from Ireland, Vodafone from
Yes.
Ireland.
Yes.
Maybe we can reach out Vodafone for sponsorship.
Yeah. It's not too bad. I mean,
Yeah.
most places has Wi-Fi, although some places the Wi-Fi is not very good, but you manage. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially me, I would have to remind myself that we don't have to be connected all the time. Because we are supposed to go out there.
Yeah,
and
sometimes you
enjoy.
keep looking at your phone and you forget to enjoy the beautiful sunset in front of you. And it's like, hey, why are you looking at your phone? Look at the sky.
I'm updating Instagram. Yeah, it is a problem, but it is not such a big problem.
Yeah, you can get connection unless you want to go into the Sahara Desert for a long period of time. Otherwise, in most town, you will get connection.
Go to McDonald's.
McDonald's. Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever felt in danger because of a lack of Wi-Fi, or when you do feel like you need to tie your door shut?
Yes.
There was one time in Morocco, and we were driving up the mountains to another town. We've not, of course, been there, and a lot of the time you lose connection, so you don't have data. And on the map, it doesn't quite show that it's a road. It's like a dirt road.
And then we don't have sat nav.
And then you don't see a single soul. So you wonder if you're in danger. What is in front of you? Is it going to be dead end, or are you going to be ambushed? And you feel kind of a bit scared. You thought maybe there's a little danger, but actually it wasn't.
It's I know it's kind of a phobia. It's unnecessary that we thought that we were in danger. But actually, Susie, not me. I was fine to go ahead without a GPS. We do have a physical map. And anyway, it was still daylight, but Susie felt the situation was a bit in danger because we don't know where we're heading. We don't have GPS, and it's all just mountain and nobody around
and the
us.
sun
No
is
road.
setting.
Yeah, so in that instance, we decided to turn around to go back to the town, which was like an hour away. So to me that was quite a waste, because we could have gone for another half hour later on that we found out that there was another town already. So it was unnecessary, but we learned our lesson. So
but if that's the only time you felt in danger, where it was just not, there was no actual present threat.
No,
but there was another time in Albania. We parked by a restaurant. It was bright when we parked it, but we didn't realize that at midnight they switch off all the lights. So I woke up to some sound of like someone trying to open the kitchen door, and we tried to shine the light outside, but we couldn't see a thing because it was pitch black. So we then drove towards the near the main road where there's more lights, and we parked by the main road. So that was a time that I thought a little scared.
But otherwise, it's been
most of the time it's okay. One time, can't remember. The Skipwith Common. We drove to this place and we thought, oh, it's a nice place to park. It looks so on the map. And we drive and drive and drive, and it was into the woods. And then when we end up, it's already like dusk, and it was just nothing except some trees and lots of woods, and we don't see anything around us. So it was a bit scared, but it was dark already. So we had no choice but to park there and sleep for the night. And then in the morning we woke up. Oh, it's a beautiful place.
Yeah, we will park. We park just right in a
I
very
was
beautiful
concerned about our
forested park.
safety and not sure where we're parking, and there's no
Yeah.
one except the woods and lots. And but then it turned out actually it's a beautiful place, greeted by some wild birds.
Yeah.
So,
It's just the unknown, isn't it? It's the uncertainty and unknown that's the scary thing, and that I think that's the wherever you are and however you're traveling.
Yes.
Sounds like some amazing stories, and I'd love to hear. I think it's kind of time that we've got to start up a bit. What do you think, Anna? Any more questions coming through?
Well, there are still a lot, but maybe we can go onto our Facebook page and we can answer a few. I mean, definitely, you are amazing. I mean, 2 women in your 50s, you know, smashing all these stereotypes, you know, left, right, center, whatever.
Intention.
I just remember, if we can do it, so can you. You know, it's not so as scary as you think. It's actually quite enjoyable, and there's lots of things out there in the world to see and people to experience with.
Like people say, there's a lot more kindness in the world than danger, and I think we also, I mean, at this age, right, like I say, we have to be assured that we make the right decision, that we know people, we know how to handle ourselves on the street, we know how to talk to people, deal with situations. So we have that experience and we can rely on that. We just need to be a little bit more confident in that.
Take the first step.
Yeah.
That's so true. So true. Yeah. Where can people find out more about you and how can they support you on your journey?
We are on Instagram and Facebook as Two Traveling Aunties, and we do have a YouTube channel, Two Traveling Aunties, and you can support us by buying us coffee at coffee.com, and also be our patron at patreon.com to support us. It tells a little bit of encouragement that really, you know, help us through
to see more and travel more and share with everyone our experiences.
It's good to read comments when people say that we inspire them to think out of the box and to think that they plan to do this when they reach 50. I don't know, maybe that's the magic age. I don't know.
Maybe something happens when you hit 50 and you're just able to the wind and set off, find your home and drive wherever the hell you want.
And just like been there, done that, and still doing things.
Maybe it's just a celebration of all the experiences we gathered so far in our travel, and it's just like the next step. Let's take it. And I mean, you are
we spend the majority of our life working, and I just really feel that our life is not all about working and paying bills, and the world is so big, there's so many places out there. We need to see more of the earth and be
we need
nature.
To meet more people.
You know, so
know a lot of culture, like the people that we met. It's amazing the things that we see. We were invited to a nomad's wedding in the middle of the mountain in Morocco, and you know, people just helping and giving us food and vice versa.
So experience life and not just be stuck in a small cubicle behind a computer. That's what I say. So
feet. I might come out and pick up VanGar and drive her the other direction.
Oh yeah, please do.
If no one else me to it, you just make it so much fun and so rewarding.
Yes, and it's easy. It's not difficult. It's easy.
Maybe we can face with you again when you've got through Russia and India, Pakistan, and then see how Van holding up then. And
hopefully, fingers crossed. Oh, that will be epic. Yeah, it will be epic.
We'll try.
And look out for our memoirs. if we get down to it. Yeah.
Thank you for talking to us this evening. It's been an utter pleasure.
It's been our
Yeah.
pleasure to share with you what our experiences
Yeah,
are.
yeah. It's a pleasure to share.
It's been wonderful. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. See you on our social media.
Yeah. We'll put
Yeah.
up some for you, and we'll write an article about covering the main points that we've talked about today.
Okay.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, definitely. We'll put a link into your YouTube channel. And if you
Thank you.
under the video, feel free to drop in a link there. I'm sure everyone watching would love to find out more about you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, we'll do.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good night, everyone.
Good evening. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.